I nominate Mr. Ferguson here.
I would like to nominate someone who's been here longer than me, which would be either Mr. Hilton or Miss Nicholson, in deference to your seniority. Well, I'll do it. I just was offering it to you since you were both more senior than I.
Well, let's call for a vote.
Okay, let's take it away. Ms. Nicholson? Mr. Ferguson?
Yes.
Mr. Stansel?
Yes.
Mr. Hilton? Okay. Mr. Ferguson, you are the chair.
Oh, boy.
Congratulations. So when you're ready, you should stand and recite the pledge and then oh, yes.
Call the meeting to order. I'd like to call this meeting to order. This is the PLDRB workshop. It's Wednesday, November 5th, 2025. We have a quorum thanks to Mr. Stansel. Thank you. And can we stand and pledge allegiance to the flag?
The United States. Mr. Ferguson, I just wanted to acknowledge that Ms. Davina is here from the school system.
Thank you for being here. So the first order of business is presentation on proposed amendments to Chapter 9, Engineering, Design, and Utilities of the Land Development Code.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Tonight we're talking about engineering, design, utilities, and our site development manager, Mr. Dennis Leap, will lead the presentation.
How are you tonight? So we have Estelle Lenz, our senior planner, Carmelo Morales, stormwater engineering, and in the back here we have Jordan, our floodplain manager. We're here to talk about the land development code amendments to Chapter 9, engineering, design, and utilities. So what we'll do is the amendments are based on the following recent updates to the comprehensive plan, implement a goal, objective, or policy, to clarify the intent of a regulation, update references to Florida statutes or agencies, or to address ongoing and repetitive issues. At any time you have a question, you can stop us and ask a question, and we'll try to answer those questions for you. So we have traffic control devices, Chapter 9, Section 9.01.03B. We updated reference on manual and uniform traffic control devices and Florida Department of Transportation standards, technical specifications for road and bridge construction. We have construction plans submittal requirements, Section 9.01.04K2. We have a clarification. We added each phase shall require a site development permit. Plating requirements, subdivision design standards, Section 9.02.02A1, a clarification. We replaced all lots with lots fronting on a curve, and we rephrased, and those fronting on a curve shall meet the minimum lot width measurement measured at the front setback line, with the minimum lot width shall be measured at the front setback line. Section 9.0202A2A, a clarification. We rephrased lots along arterial streets shall be with corner lots shall be. Section 9.0202A2B. We had a clarification. We removed unless approved as part of an MPD. Yes. Why are flag lots prohibited? You want to answer that, Fong?
Yeah, the issue is that depends on the, every district in the zoning districts, we have the width of a lot. And the smallest one that is basically required is the cul-de-sac lot, where it has basically a pie shape. And then that's the reason why we clarify the width of the lot has to be 20 feet fronting the street, and then but the measurement is basically set back. So in flag lots, what we typically have the issue is that it interfere with existing residents, because if you have a flag lot, let's say you have a 20 feet driveway, you have to drive beyond the back of someone's lot in order to have that. And we discourage that type of subdivision because we don't have that in the ITT platted lots, the 40-something thousand lots. And so new subdivisions, we're going to prohibit that in order to have conflicts with existing homes or platted homes. Yes. Yeah, I think the conflicts between adjacent property lots, that's what the concern is. I have not seen any one that, doesn't have that issue.
Seemed odd.
Is basically prohibited, but I think in the, let me see, 90203, 02A also allow some flexibility.
I know they always have been since I've been doing this prohibited. I assume it was a council decision way back when that they just didn't want development to take that pattern. Right.
Yeah, that's part of staff's recommendation that we want to remove it completely. We may want to add back basically by the discretion of the land use administrator. In that way, basically, we would look at each subdivision individually. If that's your recommendation, we could take that back and relook at it.
Yeah, just from an engineering perspective, when you have the flag lots, it could create some issues with utility services, drainage along those areas, driveways, right? It makes it more challenging to develop. Maybe that's why back in the day others thought to minimize that sort of development. And if you have a raw piece of land now that you're going to replat, there are probably other ways that you can do it with perhaps common driveways, right, or easements where you limit multiple flag sticks going up, right, where maybe it could be like a shared path and utilize the land a little bit better. And again, I'm kind of speculating what may have been thought, but back in my other life, I used to do private engineering, and the flag lots do create some other challenges when it comes to drainage and utilities.
Plating requirements, drainage easements, 9.02.03A1 clarification, changed 15 feet to 10 feet and added plus 2 feet for each foot of depth below grade to the bottom of the pipe, and also added or designee. Plating requirements, stormwater storage facilities, 9.0203B, a clarification, added easements for stormwater facilities shall be given to the city. The city may, but is not obligated to inspect and maintain a facility and build the development for the work done. Stormwater management facilities as defined, such as ponds, lakes, are prohibited to be included in platted lots. Plating requirements, plat approval, 9.02.04A and B, clarification, rephrased prior to city council hearing for approval of the final plat to prior to city approval of a final plat. 9.0204A, clarification, rephrased to only state provide a cost estimate as outlined in 9.02.05.A.1.
Yeah, if you look at 9.0205A1, it spells out what needs to be done. So.
And then 9.02.04B, clarification, that entire portion was removed. Plating requirements, performance surety, 9.02.05, clarification, removed at such time as the city agrees to accept the dedication of any public improvements, a performance guarantee in accordance with the standards in this section shall be required. And just for further clarification, the bond is due prior to recording of the final plat. Plating requirements, performance surety, 9.02.05A1, clarification, remove the word public. This, just as a note, this is to make sure that all the infrastructure that is required for the subdivision is bonded within the project, whether it be public or private. Construction and inspection requirements, 9.03.03. This is a new section here. It addresses changes in Florida Statute 177.073 and economic development incentives in the 2050 Comprehensive Plan. Added was commencement of construction on early start residential projects as covered under FS 177.073, and or early start non-residential projects is prohibited unless A, final development order is issued in conjunction with an early start site development permit, B, FDEP water certification or partial certification where the project are obtained, certification by the engineer of record is required, and C, all required city-related checklist items have been or obtained.
Let me read a portion of the statute so you're aware what that is. Under the statute 177.073, 2A, it's stated like this. By October 1st, 2024, the governing body of a county that has 75,000 residents or more, and any governing body of a municipality that has 10,000 residents or more, and 25 acres or more of contiguous land that the local government has designated in the local government's comprehensive plan and future land use map as land that is agricultural or to be developed for residential purposes shall create a program to expedite the process of issuing building permits, which is what we call early start building permits, for residential subdivisions or planned communities in accordance with the Florida Building Code. And this section, before a final plat is recorded with the clerk of the circuit court. The expedited process must include an application for an applicant to identify the percentage of planned homes not to exceed 50% of the residential subdivision or planned community. So it's pretty clear that we are required to provide an early start up to 50%. And the statute also said that we're not limited to 50. Local government can exceed the 50% if we would like. And then by December 31, 2027, it allows up to 75%. So just to let you know, that's the statute. That's correct, yes, yeah. Because that's what it referred to local government to come up with a program to allow early start, yeah. Yes, it will be the same, right?
No, it's a little bit different because what happens is on the early start, we require them only to do certain things before we allow them to go vertical construction. We make them have, the road needs to be stabilized so the fire access emergency vehicles can traverse the site. They have to have a water certification for fire protection. And there's some other things they need to have. They need to put signs up there in English and Spanish to make sure people don't drink the water out of the hydrants because it hasn't been, and they can't connect the water and sewer because if they don't have their sewer connection, they can't put water into the house without being able to get it out of the house. Things like that. They need to have street signs put up there. And we have inspections that once they say they have all these conditions met, an inspector will go out there, make sure they have all these conditions met that we have. There's like 15 items that they need to show to us that they have before we will allow them to start to submit the building permits to go vertical.
It is different in terms of basically the services are not active. Like water's not going to be there, sewer's not going to be there. So if you have those 50%, you have a house that's been basically constructed, but you cannot turn on the water, for example. So, but the infrastructure needs to be in place in order for cars to traverse and things like that. That would have to be in place. So predominantly, most of the infrastructure should be accommodating for that up to 50%, but we would allow them to do that, except the services are not active at that time. Yeah.
And they can't get a CO until the whole site has been finalized, paving, everything has been done. This just allows them to start to build buildings while they're still doing ongoing infrastructure. Correct, yes. Yeah.
Correct,
That's
right.
the whole reason why this bill was put in play, yes.
Right. They could start basically, advertising for that and start the sales, but they have to know that it will not have COs until everything is completed. Yeah.
Well, we took about 8 months to get that checklist together through the building department, the fire department, utilities, planning. So we went through many iterations of that. We haven't had any complaints for the residential portions because, in reality, it's all for health and safety is our checklist. If somebody gets hurt on a job site and we can't get back to them to help them, then, we're at fault for not saying you need to have a stabilized road. I mean, everything that's on the checklist is pretty common sense that you need to have this stuff in order to start building. We had a little pushback at the beginning, but they realized that the fire department said, in order for us to get back there, we need to have these roads stabilized that can handle a fire truck. And so we haven't really had that much pushback on that issue. And most of them haven't even gone to 50%. We've had like one or two projects maybe. Most of them just go with like 10 or 15 houses, because they don't want to get too far ahead of the game. But there has been a few of them that have gone out to the whole 50%. But they can't get a CO until they get a recorded plat anyway. So that's the main thing on that. Yep. Stormwater management requirements, stormwater treatment and attenuation, section 9.04.03C5. This is to address an ongoing repetitive issue. We replaced 6 inches with 12 inches. The stormwater management requirements, collection and conveyance, section 9.0405A, clarification. We replaced 5-year with 10-year and added the word also. And section 9.0405E, clarification. In subsection 1, we replaced 5-year with 10-year.
Ask a question.
Yes.
Are there definitions of the 10 and 10-year, 24-hour, how much water that is?
Yeah, there are. There's numerous publications, and it varies throughout the state. So
Each county has a different number? Or
yeah, and
region?
right? Yeah. So water management districts kind of rule. There's several of them.
It depends on how quickly the water percolates down.
Right. Yeah. But and typically a 10-year storm event for our area here, it's I want to say it's like 8.8 inches
In a 24-hour
in a
period.
24-hour period. I think that's what a 10-year storm event is about. Yeah. Yeah. So right now, the 524, it's kind of like the de facto. That's what's been around for a while. The city ourselves, we use a 10-year storm event for our infrastructure. So we're just trying to keep up, private development.
We've had a couple of those in recent years, right?
We have, yes.
Thank you.
Stormwater management requirements, erosion and sediment control, section 9.0406A, clarification, removed as necessary. Stormwater management requirements, erosion and sediment control, section 9.0406B, updated reference. We replaced June 2007 with July 2013 or latest edition, and replaced July 2008 with October 2018 or latest edition. And section 9.0406D, addressed ongoing repetitive issues. Added within city right-of-way, only sod shall be accepted along slopes.
That means that no hydro seeding for that, so,
And that would only be within the right-of-way.
correct, yes.
Stormwater management requirements, erosion and sediment control, section 9.0406F, clarification, added or permit final, and added or designee. And stormwater management requirements, National Pollution Discharge Elimination System Stormwater Program, section 9.0407, clarification, added and approved NOI. And just for your clarification, in there, the CGP stands for Construction Generic Permit, and NOI is Notice of Intent. Stormwater management requirements, SWPPP or SWIP contents, section 9.0407D2, clarification, added if the location on the NOI is not at the construction site, a copy shall be provided to the city as well as any inspection forms completed as part of the SWIP. And SWIP basically stands for Stormwater Pollution Prevention Plan. Stormwater Discharge Pollution Control Enforcement, section 9.0501B, clarification, added or designee, replace cease and desist orders with a notice of violation, added the word a, remove the word or, and added and or posted to the property. Land modification or platted residential lots, clearing and earthwork, subsection, or section 9.0601A7, clarification, we moved section B, and then we'll renumber the subsequent, or reletter the subsequent sections after that, B, C, D. So, land modification or platted residential lots, construction on platted residential lots, section 9.0602, clarification, added subsection C, this article should be used in conjunction with all applicable sections of the City of Palm Coast Technical Manual. Utilities, water main location sizing, section 9.0703C2, clarification, removed plus a CD compact disc containing electronic files. Utilities, reclaimed water systems, section 9.0707E, clarification, removed if reclaimed water is not available at the time of construction, a connection shall be provided with backflow prevention to the potable water system until the reclaimed water is available. Outdoor lighting requirements, purpose, section 9.0801, clarification, removed in general conformity with the dark sky goals and recommendations.
Yeah, the history of it is that back when we became the city, a lot of residents came out and don't want any street lightings, not traffic lights, not street lightings, because there's the concern of light pollution, and they want to enjoy, looking into the stars, something like that, and subsequent to that, we make modification because City Council started to implement street lightings for major corridors, like you see in Belterre, and then you see eventually, Palm Coast Parkway has already been there, most of that, and now you will see most of the street lights will be implemented along. Right now, you see like Rimfire, Whiteview will come in, Royal Palms will come in, and so that basically the regulations here does not implement that at all because you have already street light pollution in that way. So it doesn't make any sense to continue to have that policy in place. Yeah.
Outdoor lighting requirements, parking lot lighting, section 9.0805A, address ongoing repetitive issue and update reference, added and/or certified professional, and rephrase section 14 of IESNA-RP-20-98, lighting for parking facilities, 1998 or current edition, to section 4 of IESNA-RP-20-14, lighting for parking facilities, 2014 or current edition. And then our next steps are, do you have any additional questions or comments on anything we've gone over so far?
I have some things in my brain. I hope I could express them.
Sure.
I take this as mostly a custodial step to allow the land development code to be consistent with the comprehensive plan. Am I on track with that?
Yes, that's correct. The revisions in here are mostly not really addressed in the comprehensive plan policies because there were none that basically had new policies from the comprehensive plan that we adopted in May. But we took this opportunity to basically correct any repetitive issues. We want to make clarification on certain, references, and then also part of that is that we want to make references to practices that are no longer applicable. And for example, one of the one that you may not understand there, because I didn't understand until before I come in here and I asked Carmelo, explain it to me, why you reducing 15 feet easement down to 10? So he said that, well, if you have a small pipe to lay, 10 feet is more than adequate. But if you have basically a 72-inch pipe, that would not be adequate because you can't really, and you bury it, let's say 10 feet below the ground. The 10 feet easement is not going to be adequate for excavation down to 10 feet below. So that's why every foot down, then basically you have to add another 2 foot wide. So in order to have that room for excavation to bury the pipes. So things like that is part of the practice that we experience, and that will prevent any issue in the future where we need to come back and remove certain pipes that are already in place to replace them, and we're not going to damage existing structures. So that's the reason why we took this opportunity to improve or make clarification to the chapter.
The other thought that I had was this stuff is pretty complicated from my point of view, and I feel flattered that what's presented to us for comments or ideas, when we're lucky we can catch it the first time around. So thank you for your level of detail, and thank God I don't have to do these kind of things because I'd never make it. So thank you. Anybody else have any questions? Mr. Stansel, thanks for giving me this opportunity. I really feel powerful.
Needs to make
No, I don't think we.
No, we unless you have consensus for any suggestions, then we will take that. Otherwise, we already heard your comments or questions. Yeah.
Okay, then the schedule or moving forward is staff will present the other chapters in the coming months. I think you may have already heard a couple of chapters. I think from your, there's a lot more to go. And then we were going to have a follow-up workshop on the 19th, but I guess we don't need to have part 2 if we don't have any changes.
Yes, we initially scheduled maybe 2 workshops with you, but we have to determine that if you don't have a lot of questions or you don't need time, then we will basically cancel the other workshop. But we may basically cancel the chapter, but we may replace it with another chapter. So the workshop date may not change, may not be canceled, but we would provide another chapter for you to review. Mm-hmm.
So we did Chapter 7 last week or 2 weeks ago, last meeting, and Chapter 9 tonight.
Yes.
Chapter 8 still to be reviewed, or did I miss Chapter 8?
Yeah, we did not follow the chapter by chapter, like we start with Chapter 1 or 2. Basically, we started with Chapter 5, and we thought, part of the sequencing is that we want to bring to you a simpler one first, and a not controversial one, and then we will eventually we'll go through all the chapters of the LDC. Yeah.
Any other business to be presented by staff tonight? Any
we
other
have.
questions by members of the board? Thank you, Mr. Stansel, for saving us tonight rather than having to come back. Board discussion and staff issues. Is there a need for a roll call? No? So, it's over. Thank you.
Thank you.
Don't let it go to your head.